It was a dark, rainy night. Thunder roared loudly in the sky. Strong winds shook the trees, and flashes of lightning filled the surroundings with an eerie silence and fear. At the small village square of Shivpur in Madhya Pradesh, a few villagers were sitting around a bonfire. Among them, the village elder Hariram Baba was warning a new guest named Vivek. "Son, never take the old Peepal Tree Road at night, no matter how urgent it is," he said seriously. Vivek smiled and asked, "Why, Baba? What's there?" Hariram Baba took a deep breath and replied slowly, "That road is haunted, son. Whoever went there at night either never returned or came back completely mad." The villagers nearby looked frightened, but Vivek, who had come from the city, laughed lightly and dismissed it as superstition. Seeing this, Hariram Baba began telling the real story of that road. Many years ago, the daughter of the village landlord, Sandhya, was brutally murdered on that very path. After that day, strange incidents started happening there. The villagers eventually swore that no one would ever use that road after sunset. One of the villagers sitting near the fire suddenly said, "I've seen it with my own eyes. One night a woman in a white saree was standing there, and she had no eyes." Vivek laughed and ignored the story, thinking it was just fear and imagination. But 2 days later, circumstances forced him to take that very road. Heavy rain had stopped the bus service. A village boy named Rakesh told him, "Brother, if you want to reach quickly, go through the Peepal Road. It's shorter." Thinking it would save time, Vivek agreed. Around 9 at night, Vivek started walking alone on that road with a torch in his hand. The path was completely deserted. Dense jungle on both sides and a muddy trail in the middle. In the beam of the torch, he could hear crickets chirping and frogs croaking in the darkness. Suddenly, he heard footsteps behind him. Vivek immediately turned his torch around, but there was no one there. He told himself, "Maybe it's just my imagination," and kept walking forward. After a few steps, he heard the sound of a woman quietly sobbing somewhere nearby. Nervously, he called out, "Who's there?" But there was no reply, only the sound of crying. Slowly, he moved forward, and in the light of his torch, he saw a woman standing there. She was wearing a white sari, her long hair open, covering her face. Vivek said cautiously, "Why are you here alone at night? Do you need help?" Slowly, the woman lifted her head, and what Vivek saw made his heart almost stop. Her face was covered in blood, and she had no eyes. In a horrifying voice, she said, "Take me to my killer." Terrified, Vivek started stepping backward. Suddenly, his torch stopped working and thick darkness surrounded him. At that very moment, a cold gust of wind rushed past him and someone placed icy fingers on his shoulder. Vivek screamed and turned around, but no one was there. A few steps away stood a huge old peepal tree. Near its roots sat an old tantric dressed in black clothes, Mahadev Nath. Shaking with fear, Vivek asked, "Baba, what is happening here?" The tantric replied in a deep voice, "You made a mistake. Son, this is Sandhya's road. Her spirit is still searching for her killer." Suddenly, the woman appeared again. This time, her face was filled with terrible anger. She screamed, "Why has this man come here?" The wind became violent and the branches of the peepal tree began shaking wildly. The tantric shouted, "Sandhya, he is innocent. Let him go." But she screamed even louder, "No one is innocent. When I needed help, everyone stayed silent." Suddenly, Vivek felt an invisible force pulling him toward the roots of the peepal tree. The tantric quickly whispered in his ear, "Sandhya's killer is Rakesh, the same boy who sent you on this road." Vivek was stunned. Just then, in the distance, Rakesh appeared, probably coming to check on Vivek. The moment Sandhya saw him, she screamed in a terrifying voice, "Finally, I found you." Rakesh tried to run away in fear, but the roots of the peepal tree suddenly came alive and wrapped around his legs. His horrifying screams echoed through the jungle. After a few moments, everything went silent. In a calm voice, Sandhya's spirit said, "Now I am leaving, but this road will always remember what happens to those who betray." Her shadow turned into smoke and disappeared into the air. The Tantric Mahadev Nath safely escorted Vivek back to the village. The next morning, news spread that Rakesh had gone missing. Vivek never told anyone the truth. But the story didn't end there. 6 months later, Vivek received a letter from the village. It was sent by Hariram Baba. The letter said, "Son, strange incidents are happening again here. People say Sandhya's spirit has returned." Reading this made Vivek uneasy, but he decided to return to the village. That night, he reached Shivpur again. Hariram Baba told him, "After you left, 3 people disappeared from that road." Just then, a villager named Kamlesh came running and said in panic, "Baba, Kalu the shepherd went through that road this evening. He hasn't returned yet." Hearing this, Vivek said firmly, "Tonight we will go there." They went to the Tantric Mahadev Nath. After hearing everything, the Tantric said seriously, "This time Sandhya is not alone. There are other spirits with her." He gave them a sacred red thread for protection. At around 10 that night, Vivek and Kamlesh reached that road again. After walking a little distance, a cold wind started blowing. In the torchlight, they saw a girl sitting on a swing. She was wearing white clothes and her face was hidden. As she slowly moved closer, they realized it was Sandhya. But this time half of her face was rotting. Suddenly voices began echoing from all around. "Free us! Free us!" Dark shadows started emerging from behind the trees. One shadow suddenly jumped toward Vivek, but the moment it came near the red thread, it screamed and moved back. Just then, the Tantric Mahadev Nath arrived. He quickly drew a circle on the ground with sacred chants and said, "As long as this circle exists, these spirits cannot enter." Hearing this, Sandhya screamed loudly, "If I cannot stay, then no one will survive." She flew through the air toward the Tantric. At that moment, the red thread suddenly caught fire and a bright light spread everywhere. A few seconds later, when the light disappeared, Sandhya and all the other spirits were gone. But on the trunk of the peepal tree, a black mark had appeared, moving slowly like smoke, as if something inside it was still alive. Even today, people in the village say only one thing about that road: never take the old peepal tree road at night.
I will come back, Colin.